Hey everybody, this is my T Bar tank, and that fish in the back there is in fact my T Bar Cichlid. And I've been keeping an eye on her lately. Now that you can kind of see the front of her face, you can see right there sort of between her eyes is looking kind of rough. I turned the lights on a couple days ago and she had some sort of lesion on her face. I wasn't sure what it was, but it didn't look good. Now, I say she, but I'm only assuming it's a female. I'm not 100% sure on that. She's about 4 years old, and considering the lack of bright colors, the lack of elaborate fins, and the lack of the nautical hump, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that she is a female. For a while I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it was just a male, but since there was no female in there to really sort of bring on the spawning colors or whatever, that we weren't really going to find out. But as time has gone on, I think I can safely say this is a female. She's been in there. There's a good look at what I was talking about. So she's been in here for about 4 years now. So she's very clearly full grown and fully mature, but she's kind of skittish, and she darts and dashes and hides from me a lot. And when I first saw that mark on her face, it looked a lot worse than it does now, believe it or not. And I was really concerned. My first thought was hole in the head disease. I'm not really sure that's got more to do with the lateral line than it does the front of their face like that. But this also was right between her eyes, so it very well could have had something to do with her lateral line, which is what hole in the head disease is. It most frequently affects the lateral line. It's actually called lateral line erosion disorder or something like that. But the name of the disease actually has the lateral line in it. So the fact that it was right smack on her face between her eyes like that kind of led me to think maybe that's not the case. And so I just decided to wait and watch and see. I did a water change on this tank fairly recently. I have mineralization in the tank. I don't run carbon. So there's not a lot of the things that you would think of with hole in the head disease being, you know, a culprit in here. Now, I will say that my nitrates in this tank can get up there a bit, but I don't know if that necessarily alone contributes to hole in the head disease. I think you've got to have some other sort of dirtiness going on in the tank, and a very unclean tank. Now, it is possible I do have that pleco in here, and that's basically a poop making machine. So I don't know, but hole in the head disease regardless was the first thing that popped into my mind when I saw it. And then the more I looked at it and the more I watched, the more I thought, you know what, it looks like she dashed and smacked into something, and she literally just has an abrasion on her face. And I've been watching it for the last couple of days, and I really think that's the case. Now, hopefully I'm not going to regret shooting this video. I've done this in the past. I've watched injuries, and I've said, oh, it looks like it's finally clearing up, only to find the fish dead the next morning. In her case, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think she's okay. I think that whatever that was just some sort of injury. Maybe I walked into the room, maybe when I turned the lights on. I'm not sure, but I think she just smacked into something. These tanks aren't exactly, you know, free swimming open water. There's crowded stuff everywhere, and there's lots of you know, rocks, there's pieces of wood with sharp edges on them. There's all sorts of stuff that she could have smacked into. And I think that's kind of what happened. I think she's going to be okay. So hopefully that's going to be the case anyway. I'm tripping over all the rocks and stuff I've got set up on the floor over here in the middle of another project. So as bad as that looks more like healed over scar tissue at this point than it does fresh injury. 2 days ago you could see where it like had sort of the fleshy meat kind of hanging off of it a little bit, and then as of yesterday it was starting to look a little less inflamed, and you know, now we can see where the swelling has gone down, and she's basically just got some sort of scarring marks on her face. And hopefully that's going to be it. She's just going to have some, we'll call them beauty marks from now on. And hopefully she'll be okay. So there you go, everybody. That's a look at my T Bar tank. Make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything else I got coming up. I'll keep on top of her. And I got some other stuff going on in this tank and my other ones as well. So if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of that. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you real soon in the next one.